This video, we're going to talk about graphing a special uh, category of sine and cosine functions called sinusoidal functions. They will only have vertical and horizontal compressions or stretches to them. They will not have any horizontal or vertical shifts to them. These are special because we could write any of these sine functions that are in the sinusoidal form as cosine functions in the sinusoidal form, and vice versa. So all we need to know to graph these functions is the amplitude, which is the absolute value of the leading coefficient here, A, and the period, which we call capital T, and it's equal to the original period for a sine or cosine function, which is 2 pi divided by this thing that looks like a W. It's actually a lowercase omega in Greek. So if you hear me say omega, and I write something that looks like a W, that's why it's a lowercase Greek letter. Most of the time you can't write an omega with your keyboard if you're typing something in, so they'll use the letter W as a replacement for it. So there you go. All right, so this is a sine graph that has A is -3, so the absolute value of A is going to be 3 for my amplitude, and omega here is pi, so my period is 2 pi over pi is 2. So I'm going to start off at my 0, 0, and then I am going to need to look at my characteristic points are all cut now so that my period is, if my period is 2, I need to cut this in force to get my steps. So my step, this is not something that the uh, uh, book tells you to do, but take your period and divide it by 4. 2 over 4 is going to be 1/2. So those are my steps I need to take to get to my maximum, and then back to my 0, and then to my minimum, and so on. So 1/2 is going to be right about there because they gave me more tick marks now. They did tick marks of pi over 3, which are just about 1. So 1/2, and then I'm at -3. And then let's assume each of these is 1 here. And then at 1, 0, and then 1.5, 3, and then 2, 0, so on, so forth. That's actually at 3 there, not pi, but pi is a little bit offset to the right of that. So we're getting a curve that looks like so. And it's going to keep cycling that same way left and right. Now let's look here. My A is -2, which makes my amplitude equal to 2. My omega is pi, which makes my period, again, 2, which makes my step, again, 2 over 4 is 1/2. I again am going to assume that each of these tick marks here is 1, even though I'm not absolutely certain of that. That makes my life easier. So at cosine of 0, I would have had 1, but times that by -2, and I get -2. Now at 1/2, I get a 0. And then at 1/2 again, 2, and so on. And I get wave that looks like this. and it keeps going on forever in both directions. I'm just going to draw one period of it or one cycle of it. Now my A is 3, which is the same as my absolute value of A for my period. My omega is 4, so T is 2 pi over omega, which is pi over 2. All right, that goes better with my tick marks that I have this time. So my step is going to be pi over 2 divided by 4 is going to be pi over 8. This is a sine function, so it's going to start at 0, 0. And then I need to go to pi over 8, which is 1/4 of pi over 2. So it's here, and then it's going to go up to its maximum of 3. And then at pi over 4, it's going to be back down. That's halfway between 0 and pi over 2. It's going to be back at a 0. And then at 3 pi over 8, it's going to be down here at -3. And then at pi over 2, it's going to be back up there. It's happening very quickly. You see that? So I'm just going to draw this cycle right here. And you can keep drawing more cycles if you'd like to. 3 cosine of pi x, so my amplitude is 3. Omega is pi, which makes my period 2 pi over pi. It makes it 2 again. So this one is going to be more difficult to draw. My step is going to be 2 over 4 is 1/2. So we're going to start with my maximum at 3, and then I need to go 1/2 to the right of that. So that is somewhere right around here, and I'm going to get my 0, and then somewhere right around here, I'm going to get this, and they're just a little shy each time of the tick mark, something like so. And you can follow that wave more cycles if you would like. That wasn't really a good picture of it. Let's try this again. Come down and back up. There you go. And then it's going to go down and up and down and up. All right. This one here, our A is -5, which makes our amplitude equal to 5. Our omega is 1/3, which makes our period 2 pi over 1/3 is 6 pi. So our step this time is going to be 6 pi over 4 is going to be 3 pi over 2 for each step. We're starting with a sine function, so we're starting at 0, 0. We're going down to -5 once I get 3 pi over 2 away. So pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, -5, and then another 1, 2, 3 pi over 2 gets me there. And I can't go far enough in the other direction to get the rest of this. So this is going down and up, and it's going up over here to 5, somewhere up over here off the graph, and it's going up over here to 5 off the graph at -3 pi over 2. And so you can see that sine graph there. And we have just one more here for this video. So our A is going to be 5/4. That's our amplitude as well, since it's a positive number. We always want omega to be a positive value. I didn't mention that earlier, but we're going to use our cofunction or our even odd identity here to get that negative out of the inside there. So cosine is an even function. So it's the same thing as that. So A is 5/4. Cosine of omega x. So my period is 2π/1/3 is 6π. Same kind of thing as before, only they've changed the scale to make this easier. My step is going to be 6π/4 is 3π/2. We're starting with cosine. So at 0, I'm going to get 1/4. So right there. And then I'm going to go down to a 0 at 3π/2. So 1.5 pi is going to be a 0. And then at 3π, I'm going to have a -1.25. And then I'm back at a 0. And then a maximum, and following this wave like so. And there's one period of it. And you can draw more periods of it if you like. Again, you can use a graphing utility to help you make your graphs. I would highly recommend it, especially something like Desmos, where you can see those maximum and minimum points. And you can see the relationship between A and omega, and later on when we get to phi and B, and you can see what all of them do. But this is the end of our material for 5.6. We'll come back next time and we'll start graphing some graphs of tangent and cotangent. And so I'll see you for those videos.